So, good evening and welcome everyone once again. Today, as usual, we have an audience joining us on Zoom and Facebook Live
That
from
is
Hong
not
Kong and from
on.
all around the world. For
That is not
Naveda's
on
80 is
unmute.
the new 50 webinar, webinar panel discussion number 18. So currently, if anyone is having any background noise, just mute yourself until I complete the introduction. Okay, just mute yourself so that there's no background noise. Yeah, wonderful. So I am Veena Dansingani, founder, director, and alopecia hair loss specialist of Naveda Integral Wellness Center in Hong Kong, which is the first value-based integral wellness center offering a transformative health experience to its clients with a mission and a vision to open our flagship stores and centers in more than 20 countries by 2024. Naveda empowers people to learn the functions of the mind, body, and spirit and provides solutions for all using an integral wellness approach addressing human, planet, and social health. We also promote healthy lifestyle changes through science based wellness and prevention programs and solutions. Naveda has also taken up the responsibility to spread and provide the Indian ancient Vedic wisdom on a global platform. Naveda launched a very powerful and meaningful campaign called 80 is the New 50 panel discussion on the 21st of January 2021. A campaign inspired by our director, Mr. Lal Narinani, who turned 80, or should I say 50, on the 15th of April 2021. So this is going to be, yes, it's going to be well over a month already since we've celebrated his 80th birthday. Wow. This was a memorable and a once in a lifetime milestone celebration, which was witnessed by family, friends, and supporters from over 50 countries. It really takes someone, something to be happy, healthy, active, and purposeful at 80. Anyone who knows Mr. Lal can see that he is very motivated and positively and joyfully engages in life with all, whether it's babies, children, adults, and he has a childlike curiosity to learn new things in life. We have learned that there are many role models like Mr. Lal around the world, and Naveda has made it its mission to get to know and connect with as many people as we can who can be a true inspiration to those who are 50 plus or even younger. As we have seen that life expectancy has surely increased thanks to healthcare, thanks to advances in healthcare, people are living longer than usual, and it seems like this trend is only going to increase. However, with age, we have surely seen lots of challenges. We've seen challenges like physical challenges, mental challenges, emotional challenges, social challenges, spiritual challenges. Some of the challenges very commonly known to all of us are like dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, cancer, arthritis, depression, loneliness, loss of purpose, loss of joy, no more drive to do anything in life. So we see many people around us facing such challenges as they age. And now more so, we see a lot of people with a lot of mental health issues due to the pandemic as well. So today, Naveda has invited two panel guests who will share with us about what it takes to express your authentic self, voice, talent, or passion to the world and how they are making an impact in their respective fields, being their voice, empowering, inspiring, and leading people to do the same. So I'd like to welcome our guest to this panel discussion, Mrs. Patty Kennedy, welcome, Mrs. Patty. So you can unmute yourself. So Mrs. Patty Kennedy, she is a principal of her own international communication company called Kennedy Communication Studio. She originally lives in Vancouver, Canada, and currently is in the GCC region, where she bases herself in Sohar, Oman. So Patty is a professional speaker, a speech coach, leadership and strategic communication trainer. She's a voice coach and accent reduction teacher. She's considered a thought leader in the field of voice and communication. She has worked with business leaders, professionals, and UN ministers in the field of global communications. She has also coached dozens of Toastmasters international leaders. She is an author of several training programs like You Are Enough, and presently writing her book, Your Brave Voice, Speak from Your Soul, and Sound Like a Professional. She's very passionate about her work and has no desire to retire. At 68 years of age, Patty still believes that the best is yet to come. How lovely. So welcome, Patty. Thank you for being on this panel. Thank you for being with us, and we appreciate that you accepted our invitation to be here.
Thank you, dear Veena. It is my honor and my pleasure to join you and your audience this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Ahmed. Mr. Ahmed, am I right?
Yep.
So he is the co-founder of Cool Mom Super Dad Consultancy and also a senior partner in a change management consulting company. He believes in unleashing human talents. He is also a certified professional trainer on various diversity and inclusive programs covering themes that include parenting, fatherhood, youth leadership, and communication skills, intergenerational differences, marriages, and also work-life balance. He is a co-author of several books, and being a cancer survivor, he enjoys sharing authentically to his family, friends, community, and associations topics like, will I see you before I see you? So he's going to share the pun with us later. So welcome, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you very much, Veena, and to all the esteemed panelists, and certainly my learned and senior Dr. Sanjay, and to you, Mr. Lal, which should be the icon for those who aspire to continually to redefine that age is now, for those who are 80s, is really going to be the new 50.
Yes, wonderful. So I'm going to continue our introduction, and I want to go on to Dr. Sanjay Nagakar. So Dr. Sanjay is a world-renowned microbiologist. He's a PhD from the University of Hong Kong, a visionary scientist who coined the word wellness and introduced organic to the world, organic food to the world some 30 years ago, when everybody he shared his ideas with did not believe or understand that the wellness and organic industry was going to boom in the next 30 years. He has published more than 100 scientific papers, research articles, reports, and conference abstracts. He has invented over 83 technologies in preventive healthcare, environmental science, ecology, and nutraceutical functional foods. Also, Naveda's in-house scientist, and here is a man who truly understands the depths of wellness as an integral approach, and passionately, patiently, and generously shares his knowledge with those who are genuinely interested and willing to share and make a conscious paradigm shift or transformational shift in their lives. So welcome, Dr. Sanjay, to this
Thank
panel
you.
event.
Thank you, Veena. Thank you.
And then we have our very dear Mr. Lal Darinani, who's Naveda's director, and our 80 is the New 50 campaign ambassador. He is well known as Lal Lamos, a business tycoon who understands what it takes to go from rags to riches. He has owned multiple businesses around the world, and until 10 years ago, he decided that he wanted to slow down, or shall I say retire, to enjoy his golden years. But being the habitual business tycoon and a man with a golden heart, he yet sees an opportunity, a huge opportunity in the wellness industry, and has invested in his own well-being and others by investing into Naveda Wellness to bring in a paradigm shift in the way people deal with their health and well-being, and also offering a purpose to our senior citizens to live a more purposeful and meaningful life. He truly is a role model and an inspiration to all that he crosses path with. And we all are extremely fortunate to have such a wonderful human amongst us.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, Mr. Lal. So you can unmute yourselves. Okay, so I am going to start this discussion with Mr. Ahmed. So how are you doing today, Mr. Ahmed?
Well, I feel really awesome to be together in this circle of people, like-minded people who believe that there is more to be done in our life. So I'm just feeling great.
Awesome. And when you heard about our campaign, 80 is the new 50, what came across your mind?
Well, I'm from Malaysia, as I said, and if all of you recognize this person, he's 96 by July.
Wow.
And he is still a member of parliament. He is still going on strong, still very sharp in one of the contemporary issues. And something that all of us would be wondering how and why he is able to do so. And from that matter, for me, one of the great reason why I felt that I want to be able to live and age healthier is because of this message that all of you are sending. 80 is the new 50, provided you start before you are 50. Which means you don't wait until you have all the lifestyle illness coming into you between 50s, 60s, 70s. And lifestyle illness means is all the heart, the blood pressure, and the diabetic, and all those kind of illness that will just waste your time waiting for the medical appointment and buying your prescription. So I am a great believer because of a powerful incident that happened to me in 2007. That's 14 years ago. During my normal medical checkup, when we say normal medical checkup, my company instituted that every 2 years you have to do your checkup. And when my urologist found me having a growth of the size of a golf ball on my left kidney, that's a huge one. And it's just within 6 months from the previous checkup. So the point is that, and obviously he got more panic than I am. And he said, I don't know whether it's benign or malignant. The only way is for us to remove it. But he says to me, just think about it, because the knife is going to be on your abdomen, not mine, he said. So I did my check, I do my second opinion, and that was when I was 48. Now remember, before 50, I've already given the warning sign. And true enough, it took him more than 3 hours. It was a 10-inch cut on my abdomen, and he removed partial of my kidney. So I have about 1.8 kidney now. And yes, God has given me a second chance to tell you the story of why we need really to know that your health is your true wealth. I mean, I could be a millionaire now. I could be someone who top in the list. I could be someone who has owned properties and investment. But if I'm just lying sick on bed and I hardly can do anything, what is the meaning of this life? And therefore, I always like to be what I said, an uncompromising straight talk to my friends, colleagues, especially to my family members, to my 6 children. So I've got 6 children and 6 grandchildren for that matter.
How young are you?
I'll turn 30 according to your definition by next year.
Okay.
So I'm still about 20 years away from Mr. Lal, but I know I should be catching up. But my point is that, so what is it in for me to share this? Will I see you before I see you? And that's a pun there, because the last ICU is intensive care unit. For those who knows about COVID, you know that is the word. So I will be telling my friends, I want to see you when you are still alive and kicking, not when you are in the ICU, in the coma, and that's it. So immediately I put my thoughts, and then I keep on sharing to people that growing old is mandatory, but whether you are doing it in a healthy, in a well manner, and a fulfilling, enjoyable moment with your loved ones. So, you know why 2 years ago before COVID, I decided to tell my wife, let's go to the center of gravity where the old people are. On the way to Osaka to visit my son there. And lo and behold, I landed in Okinawa. There are 3 places in the world where people who are in the late octogenarian or even in the centurion. And Okinawa is one of them. And we went straight to this village called Ogimi. Now, when I observed Ogimi, I learned about why these people Ogimi. I met the icon of the lady who is still working, 99-year-old supervisor who was doing his managing his factory of making one of the most important tradition, which is making clothes from banana tree trunk. I wondered what exactly made them productive even at that age. So I came up with my 5F together with how the Okinawan had their life when I mirror image that. So the first, what I would say is that first F is the faith. And faith, I think, is a very important element because it is like a radar to your journey and destination. Okay, so otherwise all of us will be like driving a car all around Kowloon and Kuala Lumpur and Oman, going nowhere. So you need to have that understanding. And faith to me is like the strong roots for a tree that can withstand whatever external forces, and it is there because it knows it has its own purpose in life. So I told myself, and the Okinawan for that matter has their own personal belief, and maybe some of you know it's known as the Ikigai. Ikigai, the spirit of waking up in the morning, jumping out, knowing what you want to do enthusiastically because you have something to achieve. And I think that's the inner drive, the power, the battery that Paddy was trying to do for her Ford, but all of us must have that inner battery then. So that's one. The second F, in my view, is the family. Now, family is a more generic term because it's also friends. But more importantly is you have a human connection. I mean, just now was the connection to the Almighty, Supreme Being, but now is your relationship with people surrounding you. And I think that makes a lot of difference for a lot of people when they realize that you need the support from one another. And this is where my straight talk to my children being clear that I know my late father wasn't as open when he had all the sickness. And being parents, I now realize that we don't share all these things. But I made a point that whenever I went for my medical checkup, whenever I had certain things, I share. So that then they knew that if they inherit anything, then they have to be prepared. Although I have already said to myself that I cannot blame the DNA was given to me and whatever family history on illness. That's something that I have made sure, because most of the conversation that I had with people is that they blame their parents for having diabetes, and no. I mean, true enough, you eat with them the food, but you have the control desire to prevent it. And when I share you the third F, you know what I meant. But again and again, the Okinawan, what they have is this strong communal feeling. You know, they were together, they join up as a community, and this really helps them one another. And I think that's also support what happened in the third place. If you learn what happened in Los Angeles in a place called Loma Linda, so they had a very strong community activities. So I wanted to say about relationship as another factor. The third one, and the third one is an easy reason for the third F, which is fitness. How fit are you? In fact, the word fit, F-I-T, is where how the exercise formula should be. It's the frequency 3 times, the I, intensity, that as if when you walk, your partner, while you are brisk walking, cannot hear what you say, and the T is you do it 3 times a week. So that has been something post my operations, kidney operation. By the way, it was confirmed as malignant by the doctor, that I definitely had to exercise. And I went through Wendy Suzuki, the neurologist in New York, who talks about how it gives you the alertness when you have oxygen. So because of those factors, I am a great believer that exercise is a very important element that keeps you going. And again, comparing with the Okinawans, you know, one of the talks says that Okinawa people don't exercise. And I was shocked. What do you mean by there's no exercise? No, everything that they do in life are all movements. So which means they do the kneading, they do the preparing the chapati, they prepare all the food, they go and cycle and all those movement. I mean, for us now, we live in city, even just to go out, instead of walking like our forefathers, we go with our bikes and our cars, and therefore we lose that opportunity to then do the circulation. So a great believer. But also in fitness, I think there is also a whole combination of elements. It's not only exercise, I believe. It's also, well, I have another formula and I just cut it short. Whatever your intake is, so it's who you are is what you take, basically. So that's how it is. So if you take lots of the red meat, then it's going to have a lot more toxic in your body, but minimize it. So the Mediterranean diet, which is the second, another people who are in older age, they have that Mediterranean vegetable kind of diet, which helps. And Okinawa, they plant all these things in their yard and garden and pick it up and always have that opportunity. But in fitness, a couple more factors that I have put in post is sleep. And I know sleep has its autophagy effect. And maybe Dr. Sanjay later can just highlight to us, autophagy is the act where it's like a garbage truck that recycle your unwanted cells that can prevent anti-aging. And the other thing that I do, and we just finished our Ramadan, is continuously fasting for that 12 to 13 hours twice a week, something like the 5-2 diet if some of you are on dieting. A lot of alternative honey and dates is a must for me, and olive oil and ginger is something that I will not miss. And I think one of the key elements post my operation would be to stay positive, to stay continuously positive, that you are not in control, guys. Forget about what happened to the weather. If you can control weather, so be you worry it. But if you can't, let go. Be prepared for it. I mean, you know that it's going to rain, then get ready the umbrella so that you don't get wet. So if you want to go until the age of 80, get ready so that you don't get wet. The fourth one, which I don't think we want to touch in depth, is of course finances. I mean, how can you continue without having money to buy the food, live where you want to live, and buying that medication? I have to admit, when you go through the WhatsApp discussion of people at my age, the 50s, 60s, it revolves around which doctor, what medication, and what kind of regime that you have to go through. So I said to myself, boy, this is a death sentence that all of us have to go through by virtue of buying all those, and it is not cheap. Sometimes it's in the hundreds of thousands within a month for the pensioners. So one of my greatest desire challenging with my GP doctor is I am going to reduce my medication. I spoke to the pharmacists and they say, wow, you are probably the first person that have wanted to reduce your medication so that you don't rely on it then. So finances is to me important, because if you don't have it, you're going to be very stressful, and stress is one of the reasons why I had this cancer in the first place. So you may be wondering, what causes it? I know I found it, but what do you think that causes it? I was happy. I had a good family life. I mean, I worked together with my wife on parenting, sharing on some of the parenting tips and all those stuff. But because of my job, I was the regional HR manager for Asia Pacific after coming back from my stint in Oman. So it was just more than 12 hours. At night, I have to do teleconferencing. It was 400 people in the company. I got to ramp up to 1,600. I have people, 5 bosses reporting it, although I still have 1 wife and 6 children. But that's how it is. You know, I travel around the world more than the country manager. So it certainly takes the toil of me, and certainly it produces all the nasty hormones in my body. So I think again and again, you have to know the implication, what you are going to effect from the lifestyle that you have. Again, let me tell you, working with multinational, they give you all out insurance coverage for your medical. So eat how much you want, what you want, when you want, see any doctor, stay any 5-star hospital. And that really let go your guard. You become complacent. And your mindset with talking to these people is, don't worry, if you're sick, just take medicine. Khalli walli, no problem. So you take that like a cynical attitude about life, which you know, and I'm a great believer, if you got your quota of taking sugar at the early age, God will take away that sugar quota when you reach your 50s and 60s. That's a side effect. There's an equilibrium. And I am a great believer in that then. So whatever you can, do it sparingly and moderately. And my last F. I mean, some of you might guess it, but I think more importantly is that I felt that you may live 80, you may live like Dr. Mahathir until 96 or even 100. But at the end of the day, what is it that you're going to really achieve? So it's the fulfillment of your own personal aspiration. I told my 6 children with clear cut, there are 2 important days in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, the day you are born, and the second one is the day you discover why you are born. And some people, early bloomers, they discover very early. I mean, my youngest son of 20, he knew he wanted to become an illustrator when he was just a very young teenager, despite the rest of the other siblings are all either engineers or doctors. So he knew very well that was his forte, his passion. So I did not discover as early as him, because I took engineering to enjoy my study in the States and meeting people and then working in an organization. It was after 10 years in engineering that I realized what I really enjoy is people engagement, unleashing the talent, the potential, and unlocking the giant in each and every one of us, like you, cross-pathing my way. So this afternoon, I was telling to one of my colleagues, he says that if you know me, Ahmad, and you know that if I have a tombstone, and the writing on the tombstone will say that here lies a man who has unleashed the great potential of what is in each individual who has crossed paths with him. So I felt that this is the sense of message and motivation that youngsters need to have, because they are all in a journey. They are all desire to make a dent in this world and an impact. I've related to you about how my journey of life, and hopefully I will reach beyond 80, simply because when I was at the age of, when I was in Oman, in my early 30s, I find out that, and after having about 4 or 5 children, that I need to chart my way. So I created what I call a 9-cycle life. A 9-cycle life, and each cycle is 11 years. So that gives me the age of 99 look-ahead planning. So at 11 years old, I stayed with my mom and do my early education. 11 to 22, I pursue on with my high school and uni. At 22 to 33, I became a professional in a corporate organization, and I became a father of at least 3 or 4 children before the age of 33. At 33 to 44, I became an HR manager. And moving forward, the 4th cycle is to become a consultant. I'm now in my 5th cycle being an author and a speaker, and now on my 6th cycle, moving on to become a coach and a mentor for the young ones, where I am a great believer that if you allow them to stand on your shoulder, they will surpass you more than beyond your expectation. What is it in store for me when I'm in the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th cycle? I bet you that the world is still out there going through my bucket list. And probably one of them is making sure that the people who are in the Nevada wellness effort would certainly be realized, because by 2050, 2 billion people above 60 years old, and about 500 million would be from those people who are 60 and above. And I think rather than become one of the statistics, we are the one who are making the difference in that age brand. So with that, let me just pause myself with all the sharing, and in my true sense, sincerity of words that I have shared with you from deep from my heart, is that you are the one that can make the difference of who you want to be or what you want to be, because there is no question at all. No other external factors or forces, government, people can change the way you want to be. So as a change practitioners, ladies and gentlemen, the ball is on your court, and it's really up to you to change the limit of your own potential. Vena, thanks for listening, and a great sharing for everyone. Then thank you very much.
So that was truly authentic communication. Dr. Sanjay, what do you think about that?
No, wonderful. Thanks, Ahmed, very much. Like, very articulate, very clear, and I can say you are a very learned person. I can see that your learning, okay, is just not a concept. The learning, you know a lot. So with your message, I get very clear that you know a lot, and you try to learn the. I will not use the word secret, but you try to learn the facts. Okay, there is a certain or the reality, right? Because many people like live in the illusion or delusion, those kind of things. But like you try to embark on a journey and say like, okay, let's explore what is there. And there is a coincidence, like I don't remember exactly which panel discussion, but one of the panel discussion I mentioned that I'm a fortunate enough, I'm saying fortunate enough, I was appointed as a visiting professor in Okinawa Agriculture University, where I have done a very comprehensive research on Okinawan diet and what is the cause for them to being centenarian. So there's a lot of research on centenarian genes, and there's a lot of people around the world, they live 100 years and beyond. And they are actually breaking all the myths what we have in our literature or on Google or bestseller books today. Okay, one of the example, I shift you from Okinawa to India. In North Indian, we have a particular group of people. We call it the place called Haryana. And these people are like mostly the milk traders, like they are into the milk business. Usually we say all around the world, like if you consume a dairy product a lot and it is not good for the heart and all those kind of thing. These guys drink milk like anything.
Guzzler.
Yeah, but don't have any kind of heart problem. You will hardly hear they have a heart problem. So these are the research. You have to understand that there are so many different variety of the people around the world. There's no one single template. We have so many human template, and something like today, before panel discussion this afternoon, Veena and I was having a discussion with one of the previous panel guests, and he was talking about certain thing where we were discussing about like how he changed his um, weight based on the diet system. So basically what is happening, what I agree with it, that most of the best-selling books or Google or online, whatever we get it, it is based on the Western diet system, right? So I immediately can relate with him, and you have a knowledge of Okinawa, so you can see that their diet is very different, right? So because I have spent a lot of time with them, so I know their diet is very different. Their activities are very different. Like a lot of things are different, and they have developed a certain kind of a genetic remodeling, what we say, like which is a well known as a epigenetics, right? So most of the things around the world is based around BMI index or based on like the Western diet. So say for example, we are Indian, and this guy was saying like we eat chapati, and then none of the dietitian around the world will say, hey, you should eat one chapati. It's do not exist in the global literature. So then how you can represent the global population? So what I think, like I pick up one point from you when you mention about the Okinawa, you mentioned about Mediterranean, like you mentioned about like the Western West Coast of US. That's exactly it is. You know, like I was doing one of the cancer research, the breast cancer rate in California versus Florida is big difference. In Florida is very high, in California is very low. You know why? Because the California is a very good producer of garlic, and the garlic consumption is very high, right? So within a country, there's a variation on the diet pattern. So the thing is that there people need to understand the diet habit or eating habit, and eating habit doesn't matter which part of the world you live. It keep varying a lot. And then if you notice very carefully, you will find it that we have like hundreds and thousands of what we call the diet cluster in the world. And when you started studying those cluster, then you will realize like, oh, okay, here are the people, they are more like getting like lifestyle disease or this and that and so many whatever we keep hearing. I don't go in detail onto that. But then suddenly you come back into the cluster, their diet is perfect, right? Then you suddenly see the things are very low in amount. So what I mean to say today, like uh, what I learned from you, Ahmed, that, and I want to share with the audience, that don't go blindly with one single type of pattern. What does that
Yes.
mean? Like the people see, pick up the bestseller diet and they say like, okay, blood group type diet, or they say like, okay, keto diet, or this dash diet and that diet. You have to see how your body fit to what. So whatever information you collect, you put yourself together and see whether what fit well to you, what your body can take, what you like it. And I think it is more about the synergy of the food item with your DNA. And if you synergize it, and then suddenly the some magic happen. So that was the outcome of my research or our team research in Okinawan diet, like why these people are centurion, because they have synergized their food items which fit to them. And that is why who doesn't know about the Okinawan diet, please read about it. Their diet is very, very different from rest of the world. So that's what the thing, because their diet is different, their lifestyle is different, there's so many way, even like their way of farming is different. Like if you go very much into deep, they don't do the farming like rest of the world. Even the farming is different. So that's what it is. So when they are doing the farming, they already change the nutritional value and a lot of things into their like food stuff kind of thing. So what I mean to say, the message here is we need to learn a lot and we need to be custom made. So this is the new. So one sharing one thought over here, that I always keep saying the medical science is going to change is changing very rapidly. And in few years time period, it will be completely changed. The pills will be completely disappear. There will be no more pills, and the healthcare will be uh, custom made. It's just like a tailor made kind of thing. That day is not very far, and that is the message uh, we can express through the Okinawan diet. Is a perfect example. And there are a lot of literature about the Okinawan diet, and Ahmed has given me this opportunity to he reminded me my old days, like when I was as a visiting professor, like once going and they were doing the research. Please read about the Okinawan diet and you will be surprised to see there's a lot of hidden stuff over there which can help a lot of people. So yes, absolutely agree with Ahmed. Thank you very much to raise that topic. And I got this opportunity to tell people, like, please read about Okinawan diet. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that sharing. Thank you, Mr.
Wonderful.
Ahmad. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. Let's move on to Petty. How are you doing, Petty?
I'm very well. This is a very fascinating discussion. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. And any thoughts that you'd like to share about Mr. Ahmad's sharing?
Well, as I speak, I certainly would. I would like to, first of all, say, Mr. Ahmed, it is a great honor and somewhat of a challenge to follow you. Your information, your energy, your zest is tremendous. Dr. Sanjay, I just agree with everything that you say, and I'm so happy to hear you say that soon medication will be a thing of the past. I often say meditate, don't medicate. And it's something that I've believed in for a long time. Dear Veena, I want to thank you so much for inviting me today. And of course, Mr. Lal, you are an inspiration to each and every one of us. You know, I listened to what has been said so far by both Ahmed and Dr. Sanjay. And you know, I come at it understanding everything that's been said and in 100% agreement, but there are some components to this that I, as a 68-and-a-half-year-old woman, I was born with a disability. I'm a cancer survivor, and I would like to share with your audience how I keep going and how I keep my beautiful zest for life, because the first thing for me, I wake up every day and I am grateful. And I practice gratitude. And in my experience in life, I believe that gratitude is the greatest elixir. It is the greatest healer. I was born with a very damaged central nervous system. I live in pretty tough pain 99% of my life. But through gratitude and through the mental approach, for me, yes, I believe in faith and family and fitness and finances and fulfillment. But for me, I've really had to use my mind over my body, and so that I can continue to go on. When I was very young, I was told, you are permanently disabled, you will never work, you have to accept it. When I was just about 21, I was told that I was given 1 year to live. And I went off to Ireland, where my mother and my young brother were living at the time. And I met my first healer. My first, I don't like to call them alternative doctors, because to me they've been very complimentary, all of the medicine people and doctors that I've worked with. And that first man in Ireland, whose name was Daniel Lane, told me that if I believed, they told me I had a very rare form of bone cancer and that they hadn't seen it before, but this is what they suspected. Now, this was in the early 1970s. And so when I saw Dr. Lane and I told him that the doctor in Canada had said that I might have a year to live, he said to me, if you believe you have cancer, you will have cancer. And if you believe you will be dead in a year, you will be dead in a year. And then he added the Irish saying, and may you be 30 minutes in heaven before the devil finds out you're dead. But that was the first person I met. You see, I had been an almost Olympic athlete. I had born with this pain disorder, and doctors at a very young age told my mother, you should put her in athletics, get her strong. She had growing pains. You know, I was like a puppy. I had really long legs and big feet. And they said, she'll grow into this body and the pain will go. Well, the pain didn't go. And I missed the Olympic trials by 1/10 of a point. My coach was crying, my mother was crying, but I was like, oh, thank God, I can stop that rigorous training. And it was hurting too much and my body was really breaking down. Anyway, that was the Daniel Lane in Ireland was the first one. And then from that, he opened a door to me. And so I began to study with what we call in Canada the First Nations people, the Native Indian people, their herbal medicines. I studied with a Hopi Indian man from Arizona. I studied with a Garifuna bush doctor from the Garifuna people in Belize in Central America. I studied with an Ayurvedic man. I studied Chinese medicine. I just kept looking for ways to help me function and to beat this "you're never going to work again" story. And so it took me a very, very long time. But I learned early on, every day that I woke up was a day to say, I'm here and I'm grateful. And it gave me energy to get out of bed. It gave me the energy to shift my mind and to adjust my thinking. And you know, every one of those medicine people, for lack of a better word, that I met, all told me the same thing. You see, I came from a very violent childhood and a very violent home with an alcoholic father. And I had lived all my life not understanding the significance of being badly battered as a little tiny baby, beaten as a child. I didn't understand the significance that that was having on my body. And I think that was why, through the grace of God, I was kind of led to all these different people, because I knew that they couldn't cure me. But you know what every one of them told me? You have to come to terms with your story. You have to come to terms and get the hatred out of your heart. You have to get rid of the resentment. You have to get rid of the anger. I didn't even know really I had all this stuff in me, because you're young and it's your only frame of reference. So you just go through. I didn't even know I was angry. Then I found out that Paddy, P-A-D-D-Y, I'm named after my dear Irish grandfather. But if you put that with a small p-a-d-d-y, it means to be in a justifiable rage. And I thought, well, I have been in a rage, and it was justifiable. But it was that beginning to learn that my mind was controlling what was happening in my body. Now, the truth of the matter is, I had been, according to specialists I met when I was living in New York, I had been very badly beaten in my mother's womb. And this is where the damage, the irreparable damage, apparently to the central nervous system has come from. Okay, it took me until I was in my 30s. And by that time, I had been traveling along. I spent 25 years traveling around, talking to studying different forms of complementary and sometimes alternative medicine, taking herbal medicines, taking all kinds of tinctures and doing all kinds of massages and meditations and whatnot. And I came back to Canada after 25 years of trying to get on my feet, and was just getting on my feet, and had just received my last paper from my sociology professor to get my bachelor's degree. I got 110%. He said it was just the best paper. And while I was reading his comments, my phone rang, and it was my doctor to say, "I'm sorry to tell you, you have cancer." Wow. And I'm going to tell you, I just thought, I went to her rather dramatically, I must admit now. And I said, "Don't treat it." She said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Don't treat it. I'm not going to treat it. I spent 25 years learning how to get back on my feet. I'm back up on my feet. And now you tell me I have cancer." And she said to me, "Well, before you jump off the bridge on the way home, would you consider a form of meditation?" I said, "I've been meditating for years and years, and now I have cancer. So don't tell me meditation works." I'm back in that old pattern of my thinking of negative. And she said, "You haven't done this meditation." I said, "Well, what meditation is it?" She said, "Qigong meditation." I said, "What the hell is Qigong?" And she said, "It's the precursor to Tai Chi. It's the grandparent to Tai Chi. It's where Chinese medicine comes from." I said, "I've done Tai Chi, didn't work, never mind." And she said, "You have not done Qigong." And I said, "Well, I can't afford it." She said, "It's free." So, okay, I'll go, darn it. I don't want to go, but I'll go. And I was there, and I began. Well, within 6 weeks, when I went back to the oncologist, she had her flip chart in front of me, and she's looking where the surgery was. And she said, "You're Paddy Kennedy?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "You're the one that does that weird meditation thing?" I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "Well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it," because there wasn't scar tissue. There was no sign of cancer. I thought, wow, that was pretty crazy. So I kept doing it. And one day I became the teacher, actually, the Grand Master in Beijing, China, because of my story of the long journey I had been on to heal myself. When he heard it, and when he heard how well I was doing, he asked me if I would become the teacher of his method of medical Qigong. And I was so honored and so touched. And I said, yes. And one day he was there and he was giving the meditation, and he said this thing about, it was about adjustment of mind. That's where there's the adjustment of breath. I knew about breathing and breath. I knew about the adjustment of posture because I'd been meditating, I'd been an athlete, I understood, but it was this adjustment of mind. And so one day he was leading the meditation and he said, "I want you to think of the people in your life who have given you the hardest time. And I want you to see them as 6 or 7-year-old children." And up popped a picture of my dad. And I saw my father as a little boy with no front teeth. And he was precious. And he was adorable. And he was kind and generous. And it was before life had damaged him. And in that moment, which I've now found out this is a well-known Buddhist meditation, to see people at the ages of 6 or 7. And in that moment, something inside of me changed. And this outpouring of compassion and love and generosity, and I guess you could just call it forgiveness, which really means to let go. And something on that day changed, and my life changed. And I realized I am not disabled, I am differently abled. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher all my life. I can sit in a wheelchair and teach. As long as I have this voice and I have this mind, I am not disabled. So I began just to change everything. And I really began to understand the importance of kindness. To me, you know, Ahmed has his 5 F's. Well, I have gratitude, kindness, just practice kindness. I learned from studying Qigong that the best thing you can do to help yourself feel better is to help someone else. And I began to cultivate this kind of, when I see anyone who needs any help, I help them. I stop what I'm doing. I trained my beautiful son to be like this. I'm so proud of him. We can be walking down the street talking, and all of a sudden he's gone. And I look and he's over there helping a little old lady across the street. I taught him this because when you cultivate kindness and you stop in that moment and think, how do I feel? Whoosh, you have the most beautiful feeling coming from what they call the dantian, the lower dantian, the energy center of your body. I practice kindness every day. It's one of the things I post the most on Facebook. It took me a long time to learn the importance of love, especially self-love. It took me a long time because of my upbringing and because the way I had been talked to all my life. I had been told I was no good, to shut up and sit down. I was called names by my father. It took me a long time to understand that I am worthy. I am worthy of a beautiful life. Self-love and self-care are 2 of the most important things. And in my coaching career, no matter what I'm coaching, I'm always coaching this. Do you know, I was doing a study recently that 8 out of 10 CEOs confess to a complete lack of self-love. And that this is what opens the door for narcissistic behavior. And this is why they believe they have heart problems and whatnot. We must practice self-love. The thoughts, the way we think. You see, I was like, I can't do that. That's no good. I'm no good. I can't eat that. I can't. But through this life and through the Qigong and through my 68 years experience, I've quit saying I can't. I used to say no. I say yes. I say yes, and I do it, and I do it with my heart open. And I do it in gratitude for having been asked. I think a lot about what are called your postulates, your beliefs. What you believe is what you become. I believe I have a long way to go. I come from a great mother. My mother was hit very badly by a car at 83 and a half. Every bone from her breastbone down broken. But she was on her way to her dancing class, and she had her dancing shoes with her. 83 and a half. And she survived when nobody thought she would survive. You know why? Because she thought she would dance again. Well, about 6 years later, on her walker, she was able to dance a little bit, not a lot, but she danced again. So I had witness to this. If you think you can do it, boy, oh boy, you can do it. You know, one thing that we have to do is we have to, I think, especially the older we get, we have to say, yes, I can do it. I'll do it. Why not? Write that book. Do that thing that you've been putting off forever. Why not? We're not dead yet. I hope, dear God, if I get another 20 or 25 years, I'll be the happiest person in the planet. And I have one goal, you know, and I'm not a highly religious person, but I have one goal. I want to give it all away so that when I get up to my creator, to my maker, I can say to him or her or it, everything you gave me, I gave away. And I am so grateful. And now if you would just let me go back one more time to do it again, I would be so happy because I would like to come back. I don't care. I'm not a victim. We are not victims of our childhoods. We are not victims of failed marriages. These are gifts. We are gifted. These are the techniques that I use to keep myself. I still live with this pain. It's probably never going to go away. I've tried everything that I know. I've spent 25 years. I've seen some of the greatest neurologists in the world. It's probably never going to go away. I don't care anymore. It's me. I'm not broken. I got a little glitch in my motherboard, in my nervous system. It's just a little glitch. Some days it's not good at all. And other days it's absolutely fabulous. It doesn't matter. So for me, although I'm totally behind everything that Ahmed said and what Dr. Sanjay said, for me, how I keep myself alive and, you know, young at heart, not so much in the other places, but pretty darn young at heart, young in my mind, a little getting old in the body, got the sagging skin, but that's okay. I'm not going to go and get all Botoxed up. I want to embrace every stage of this magnificent life. Like Ahmed, I could have been dead years ago, but I'm not. I'm here. And as long as I'm here, I'm going to use the great gift of my heart, my soul, my mind, my spirit to give, to contribute. I'm still coaching. I'm still teaching. I have more teachers now than I've ever had. I have like 9 different coaches and mentors. I'm taking so many programs. I have to get up early in the morning to keep up to it. And I love it. If God gives me another 25 or 30 years, I will show up and I will be kind and I will be grateful and I will love every step of it, even the ones that aren't so nice, because those are the gifts. I will keep my thoughts clean. I will keep my hands clean. I will care for the earth. I will care for my brothers, my sisters, the animal kingdom, all living beings. And when I struggle with someone, I will see them as a little 7-year-old with no front teeth. And I will remember that they too were innocent and that life hurt them and that they are doing their best. This, my dear friends, is how I keep myself at 68 and a half going. Cultivate joy, meditate, breathe, take action, move, eat well, do whatever is in your heart and do it with love. Love for yourself, love for all living things. And I think you'll age fabulously. That's my take.
Thank you.
So beautiful indeed. Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Again, going back to the subtopic of authentic communication, right? To really share truly what's in your heart, what's in your soul, what's in your spirit, and showing up as an authentic leader so that everybody else can be inspired, empowered to live that way as well. So thank you, Penny. Thank you so much. Dr. Sanjay, you have anything to share?
Yes, what an inspiration. Paddy, salute to you. Like me, that's what we would say, like our this panel discussion, 80 is new 50, is so successful because we are definitely uh, looking people like you, Ahmed, and all, and like we are finding it. God are sending you guys to us. You see, your this 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes was like amazing. It's mind-boggling and straightforward, hit to the heart. You took a very different route, but it's a reality that what you are talking about a self-belief and self-disbelief is the biggest disease or illness in this planet today. Okay.
Yep.
You see the people around the world and yes, they say like, I will try, I will do my best, but people don't say affirmatively like, yes, I will do. Yeah. Or like believe in themselves. So what you are basically said That's what, from a scientific point of view, as you mentioned that one of your doctors said, like, okay, if you think whatever think in your mind, that is going to happen. And that it lead to the current COVID scenario around the world. So many people are dying of COVID just due to the fear, illness, not because of the COVID, is just a fear. You see the people around the world. Yes. So many people are dying of COVID due to the fear, illness, not because of the COVID, is just a fear. You see the people around the world. Yeah. So basically what is happening here, many things what you said, starting from differently able to the rare kind of bone cancer, to your believe and fighting back and come back to the life, do what you are liking to do, you like to do, and achieving and proving everything wrong, whatever hurdle came on your way. Okay. I think like that is the message you already gave to the people. And everyone has to take this message. That doesn't matter how big the hurdle is, how big the hurdle is. If you have a self-belief, you will find a way to deal with it. Okay. And it's so interesting, Veena, I forgot the name, like again, someone has mentioned about Qigong before in the panel.
Keith.
Keith, right, exactly. So yes, we believe it's very powerful. Like whether it is a Tai Chi, Qigong, in India, we have like our yoga system, which is like, we call it therapeutic yoga. Yeah. And in fact, like since you talk about this meditation and yoga, all this kind of stuff, we would say like, take this opportunity right now to our audience. The United Nations is celebrating on 21st of June, the International Yoga Day. And then Naveda, we are planning very soon to launch our like 1 month marathon yoga day program to celebrate this World Yoga Day. So that very much relate to what you just explained, Paddy, today. So I really want to come back to you, because you have talked about the self-belief again, and just that a determination, a extreme high level of determination. That so if I visualize what you are saying, there's a crowd of millions of people standing in front of you and saying, Paddy, you can't do it. And that the voice is not going to you. It's just like as a hollow body and passing through you and somewhere that, and you have a very strong mind in between and saying like, I can do, I will do, I don't believe you, I disagree with you. So there's a one versus millions, right? So that's what it is. In our medical system, in our social media system, everywhere there's a lot of negative information, right? Which make us down, which make us like really low, we make us like negative. And that's where Ahmed and Paddy, both of you say like, no, like your 5F formula, Ahmed, and then Paddy, your is sheer determination. I think like we got like our message today for this panel discussion. Wonderful. I really want to like in this connect to Veena and want to share with you, both of you, that Veena does a laughter therapy. And the laughter therapy relate to both of you is in what way is one of the thing is a positive mindset, right? And that's where what you said, living like Paddy, gratitude, living. And that's what the one of the quality, very important quality of Mr. Lal, that Mr. Lal is always a happy person. But what is making him more happy, that he makes sure that the people around him are happy. So he has created a ecosystem of happiness. I call it the ecosystem of the happiness, right? So it's not like Mr. Lal is only happy and all other people are unhappy around him, or someone has a different mood. No, if Mr. Lal is there, everyone is like enjoying, laughing, and things like that. So yes, very much confirming why Mr. Lal is 80 and is still going so strong. Because what we think, that's what Mr. Lal is practicing. That's what Veena is doing, like making sure like people laugh enough, like laughing give you the positive mindset. It cut off your all the negative vibes and all those kind of things. So I think like I will give my voice rest over here, and then I will ask Veena and Lal to share something because it's wonderful. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Sanjay.
doctor. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you so much, Paddy, Mr. Ahmad, Dr. Sanjay. So, Mr. Lal, how are you
Yes.
doing?
I'm fine, thank you, Veena.
So
Yes,
today you enjoyed the sharing.
yes, yes. I enjoyed Ahmed Saab. Ahmed Saab, can I call you Saab? Yes, you know what that means.
Yeah,
And
acha,
also-
both acha.
Also, Madam Paddy, I enjoyed both of your talk, was very informative. And of course, you know, I've been following that. And I hope I had met you before so that I would be not 50, but I would be 40. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
You're getting more greedy about getting
Yeah.
younger and younger.
Yes, after listening to all this, you know, beautiful people, I should. Yeah, I'm gonna try harder to be young.
Yep.
Yes.
Keep-
That's the spirit. That's
Yeah,
the spirit.
as long as you continue to be the way you are, and all the sharing that I think all of our panel guests who have come in, there seems to be a very common thread of ways of being or ways of living. And that always goes back to seeing, we go back to point out that Mr. Lal leads that kind of a life. And
Yes.
touch wood, that is why by God's grace, by the Creator's grace, he is healthy, happy, alive and kicking and rolling. And he keeps thriving at his age. So, you know, that just reconfirms why you are the way you are.
And you are adding one more thing now, qigong in your life.
Mm.
yeah,
Yep.
so there are so many more sort of ways of educating and learning ourselves to become healthier. So whether it's qigong, whether it's some form of meditation, you know, there are so many ways. There's so much to learn in this life that there's no way that someone can say and there's nothing more for me to do. I'm bored, or you can't say that because there's so much in life to be engaged in, to continuously to grow and learn and develop. And if there is a challenge, there is a solution. So God creates a challenge, he creates a solution with it as well. You
That's
know,
true.
so it is just for us to actually ask the right questions, learn from those who have gone through it, and move on and keep learning and keep developing. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I am going to invite some of our attendees to come up on the panel. Perhaps they have some questions to ask. So we have Geeta from KL, we have Jaya Samtani from Hong Kong, we have Mrs. J, who's always supporting us. She's up there as well. We have Betty. Betty is the one who referred Mr. Ahmad to us. And we have many other guests, which I do not know, but I'm
Thank
sure our
you,
panel
Betty Pua.
knows who they are.
Yes, they are coming in.
Hello, Mrs. J.
Hi.
Hello, Betty. How are you?
Hi, Jay.
Hi, very well, thank you.
Hi, Geeta. Everyone is from KL, huh? Jaya is from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
She's also been, all of you have actually been our panel guests before. And thank you so much for being here.
Also, Jaya Samtani is
It
there.
was
She's
an
been on
amazing
time.
talk. I really enjoyed the talk today. It was absolutely fabulous. And Veena, you are doing an amazing work for all of us, and such inspiring people coming on the panels. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes, yes. Mrs. J, you have anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'm really with you, both speakers, but I picked up this self-belief because I think in all our panels, it was one of the motives that was going through. And when you talk of Lal and Sanjay, and actually you and each one of us is the springboard for that happiness that you exude, that you give to others. And when you give it to others, you spread your wings to others, you get happier. That abundance, it comes back to you. So it's not just like you are happy. You are happy because others are happy. And all of us who contribute to others actually don't realize by giving we get happier. And the thought that you believe so much, and Sanjay said it happens, it's because we come back to that same word, self-will, passion. You talked of determination, Dr. Sanjay. Actually, synonyms, if you look in a thesaurus, self-belief, faith, passion, determination, willpower, discipline. They all have something that drives a person. You are the driver, you have the drive, and often you drive others. So people around you, it's like birds of a feather flock together. So people around you actually experience what you are experiencing. And if they don't have it, they will get it from you. So I believe in a lot of what Ahmad also has said about his success and how he rose from one to the other, given the opportunities. You were given all those opportunities and you made use. Some people get those opportunities, they don't make use. Again, you had the willpower, you had the passion, you had a drive. But ultimately, we are responsible for our happiness.
Yes. Yes.
And only if we are happy, we can make others happy. And your Naveda Wellness does that. Somehow, busy as we are, I have a talk tomorrow at 4 o'clock, you know, for 1 hour. Yeah, but I am here because I know at the end of this 1.5 hours, I get enlightened, learning. As she said just now, the teacher. All of you are teachers. We are all teaching one another. Lifelong learning. Thank you so much for giving me the platform to speak.
And thank you, Mrs. J. I'm so happy that I learned from you that after our discussion, you have another discussion with all your people who have attended to discuss with you. So it becomes
Yes.
another discussion with you.
Yes, and he went on till midnight, and Betty was one of them. They discussed
Yes.
what you discuss. It's amazing. And we look at both sides and how each can improve and how they can improve if they are panel speakers from others. Actually, that's why we listen. And the older we are, Lal, yes, you are
Yes.
50, I'm also 50.
Oh,
The
yes.
older we are, the more we want to listen. It's funny. You feel you can tap
Very well done.
somebody's brain. I am here to tap what Dr. Sanjay has to say. And after he has finished, Betty will call me, a few others will call me. I'll be having a session. And when will I prepare my paper for tomorrow?
Betty, how are you, Betty?
Very well, thank you.
Did we take all your feedback into consideration today?
Yes, very much improved because you have equal distribution. I am really very glad. Today's session is so inspiring and I learned so much from Ahmad, learned so much from Teddy. The belief in themselves, they have actually driving them through all the difficulties they have gone through. You see, with the illness they have suffered, they make themselves so strong that they become who they are today. You see, they are in the platform to share with us how much they have gone through, but they just put that as if it's just a passing phase of their life. But here they are, it's so strong and powerful. You look at them, Paddy, receiving the advice from the doctor just had 1 year. Look how many years she has gone past through that. And this is a living proof that the belief in yourself can actually change your life entirely. And I love the sharing of the 5F from Ahmad. I will not forget. And Paddy, you give us a very powerful message. You are not disabled, but differently able. So should I stumble onto anything, I am just making anything differently, not disabled, but differently able. This is so
Absolutely.
powerful. I learned so much tonight, and I love the session.
Thank
It
you
is,
so much.
Thank
yeah,
you.
it is
Thank
through all this learning that we feel so inspired to run, come back in time just to be here in time 9 p.m. to learn from the sharing session. Keep it up. Well done.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being such wonderful supporters and referring, wonderful speakers to us. Thank you, Geeta. Geeta, how are you? Unmute yourself.
Geeta. Hi, Geeta.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Geeta is also a
Hi.
strong fighter.
Thank you, Patty. I really can relate to everything that you said, and also especially waking up grateful every day. I've talked about that a lot in myself, about being grateful every single day, and that's how I started my Geeta, I Love You episodes on live episodes on Facebook Live. And I think that that is something that I can totally appreciate. And I can, it is so, it warms my heart so much when I listen to all this, because I realize that we have people here who are going through, who we all can relate to so well, simply because, as you said, we all see each other's point of view, are doing the same practices every single day. And this is what gives hope to all of us, and when I come to meetings like this, it really warms my heart, because I feel that we are all so like-minded, and that's why we've been put together. I know that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So to end this
Yes.
session, Mr. Lal, you have the platform as usual.
Oh, so as usual, I select a love song for everybody. Love you
Yay,
all.
that's what I wanted.
So it is sung in Hindi, so whoever understands it and can
Ahmad will
translate it,
understand.
can
Jeet
translate
will
it,
understand. You know,
translate it to Betty and Paddy later.
yeah, majority will understand. कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है कि जैसे तुझको बनाया गया है मेरे लिए, कि जैसे तुझको बनाया गया है मेरे लिए। तू अब से पहले सितारों में बस रही थी कहीं, तुझे ज़मीं पे बुलाया गया है मेरे लिए, तुझे ज़मीं पे बुलाया गया है मेरे लिए। कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है, कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है। Thank you folks.
Wow.
Thank
wonderful.
you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So does someone want a translation to that? Mrs.
That
J,
was beautiful.
would you like to translate that?
I think we'll let translate just 2 lines will do. The main lines especially, so that
Thank
Betty and Ahmad will know what.
So it's a love song. It basically says, sometimes in my heart a feeling emerges. Before you dwelled among the stars somewhere, and now you have been called down to earth for me. And this is a love song dedicated
Love
to
song.
the lover.
To all of you.
How wonderful,
Dedicated to all
how
of you.
wonderful they are to how grateful they're to God that they have each other. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
and
being
most
together.
important,
Yeah.
most
Thank you.
important ingredient, yeah, love.
Yes,
Yeah.
as always, we always end with love, and love is the solution to all. So
Yeah.
thank you once
Thank you.
again, and
Bye-bye.
we'll see you next week once again. And if you have any wonderful speakers, please refer them to us. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you very, very much.